And welcome to another edition of Wolverine Chat. And once again, I am your host, Tim Raymond. Back in '86, a walk on scout team. And even if you're not a starter in Michigan or a coach or something, you know what this game is about. You know how important this thing is. I heard Ryan Day said, other than his father dying, it's the worst thing that's ever happened to him. I don't know if it's that bad. And maybe that's part of the problem, Ryan. You put too much pressure on your players. You put too much pressure on everybody. That you made it about you, and you made it like this is more important than going out and having fun. If you go out and have fun, you probably win the game because you're better than us, better players, better team. I may have said better coached. I don't know if I can say that. Anyway, big victory, 13-10. I was telling my wife Trina earlier, I don't know which is more satisfying. And I would say probably the first one, but I don't know. I mean, maybe there's something to say about the second part of this question. The first part, is this more satisfying to win when they are 6-5 and going to Pinstripe Bowl or what have you? This win did not get them to another bowl. It's not getting them to a New Year's Day bowl. Okay. So is it more satisfying being 11-0 and going undefeated? Now overall, we all want to be 12-0. We want to go to the playoffs. We want to win the Natty. We want to win the Big Ten. I get that. But there's something. Come on. There's something inside here that tells you winning when we're 6-5 and the almighty world famous, as Gus Johnson says, Ohio State Buckeyes. Gus Johnson lost his voice on that interception from Davis Warren. Lost his voice. I know he's from Michigan. He says he's a Michigan fan. I don't know. Your real fandom comes out when stuff like this is on the line. So I am just not sure what he said after the game about how Michigan was disrespectful. That's ridiculous. And we'll get into it. Okay, so let's just start with this. And you know who you are. I want every Michigan, quote, fan who 6 weeks ago, 5 weeks, whatever it was, got on here. I saw the post after they lost to Illinois and said they are not going to win another game. They are not going to beat Michigan State. They are not going to beat Ohio State, of course, but they weren't going to beat Michigan State. They weren't going to beat Indiana, which they didn't, but don't tell me they didn't get blown out like everybody said. They didn't beat Oregon, but their defense started turning around. I think that's when they really started turning it around. And well, I mean, even Michigan State, the whole season, they really didn't do bad. Even Texas, even Oregon. I know they had 300 yards, but that last drive was pretty much garbage time. I know it was still a fairly close game, but when Michigan didn't score on that last drive, they tried that stupid, goofy Philly special. That was over. So that's why I say, and they got about 210 yards, okay, against one of the best passing teams in the country. So our defense has been doing well all year. Now I'm getting off track. I want to go back to what I was going to say. To everybody that said we weren't going to win a game, in fact, I bet somebody at work that we weren't going to do that. He unfortunately was fired before I collected, but I'm going to go to my boss, get his number, and remind him that I won the bet. So we're not going to win a game. We're not going to go to a bowl game. We won't win another game. Nobody will come to Michigan next year or the year after. Nobody wants to come. And we're not going to be good for 3 to 5 years. And there weren't one crazy person. There's always one crazy person in a fan base. This was a lot of people. Now, there's some of you people I love. We talked back and forth. You were like right where I was. Like, look, we lost 18 starters, 13 were drafted. Sharon maybe not doing the great job, but give him a chance. Maybe he can turn it around. You think? You're ready to fire everybody. Wink Martindale is gone. Kurt Campbell gone, which may or may not still happen. You're ready to get rid of Sharon, which means we get rid of a coach. Hey, coach such and such, coming over to Michigan. Just keep in mind, if you don't win in the first year, we're going to fire you. So that was crazy talk. Okay, even if we didn't kind of do it what we did the last couple games with Northwestern and whipping Northwestern, beating Ohio State. So the guys that all said that, and then also said we were going to lose 48-10, 42-3, 40-0. You know what? You're not welcome in this fan base. I mean, I can't kick you out, but I don't really care because you're not really a fan. I'm quite sure after Michigan State lost to Rutgers, they probably have some room over there. Since they had about, 8,000 by the end of the game, if that, like a spring game. That's no students. No students were there. I keep changing things. I gotta say this. This is kind of fun. I should write notes and go through my things, but I talk as I think about them. I was listening to a Michigan State podcast, Spartan Magazine. I think you know the guy that runs it. Anyway, he was talking about, well, you know what? The reason Michigan State struggles with fans is because they got a pro team here, and the Lions are doing well, and everybody's into them. It's like in Nebraska, that's all they got. In Iowa, it's all they got. So that's why they get these great crowds. But poor Michigan State. Plus, it was a night game last week. It was cold, So come on, I guess that makes sense. I mean, normally those Spartan fans are just sold out every game. The student section is just packed. Now I know Michigan student leave early, but they're there for the beginning of the game. They are. I mean, I go to a lot of the home games, and they're there, and they leave early, and I don't like it. But they're college students. But we have a lot of Michigan students that stay to the end of the game. I'll give them credit. So my point is, go to Michigan State, you fans that aren't real fans, okay? You sicken me, okay? You sicken me. And you can have your opinion. You can do anything. But if you're not going to be a real fan, don't be a fan. You know what a fan is? It's not saying, oh, I don't, because I know what people are saying. Oh, we can't be honest. They can't be honest. Yeah, they can be honest. I was honest. I didn't, I thought it'd be a close game yesterday, but I thought they'd lose. Michigan's quarterback has been the worst quarterback room probably ever. But the truth is, they were struggling a little bit in the offensive line. That I knew that would come around. They did. Greg Crippen and Prevey and those guys, they turn it around. They turn it around. And I knew they would. And I knew this team, I said it from the beginning, I'll say it again. They were one good quarterback from probably having 2 losses. They probably would have lost to Texas. And I think they could. They would have been close with Oklahoma. We're going to give those 2 losses, okay? But they would have been in the playoffs with a good quarterback. Not a great quarterback, a good quarterback, a serviceable quarterback. A Cade McNamara would have gotten them in the playoffs. Because even though Ohio State was, they say, one of their greatest teams that money can buy, and I'm not going to dog them for doing what Michigan just did for next year, but, man, they got everybody. And they still can't beat Michigan. And if they're that good, they just something about them. They're, just weren't good. I said they weren't explosive. It's because they were determined to run. They ran. The crowd booed. And they had the one at halftime where they had a number of plays. And I think that's the only time they got any kind of, I think one was a 24-yard, almost like a like to Travion Henderson. It's just a little swing pass out of the backfield that he got a lot of yards on. Cornell Tate had 5 receptions for about 60 yards. I don't know. I can't remember. Jeremiah Smith had a couple, 5, 4, 35 yards. But I mean, the stats overall, the stats were 200. Let me see here. 234 yards for Michigan and 252 yards. So about 20 yards difference. But here's where it happens. So pretty even, okay? Passing yards, they had 175, Ohio State did. But they only, I mean, Will Howard, first of all, when he went down there, I thought we would have blown him out. We would have blown him out. Although, maybe not, because, here's the thing. Our defense still held them to 10. So you know what? Ixnay that, take it back, rewind. That's not even accurate. It would have been the same thing because they didn't score. It didn't matter who was quarterbacking. But that one series, that's all they got all their, and the crowd started booing. Wasn't that great to hear Ohio State boo? And they kept running because Ryan Day, I'm going to prove to you guys that I can run and we're tough and we're this and we're that. You guys are wusses. Okay, you're not winning up front. Why? How do you not win up front this year? Huh? How do you not do it? How does our offensive line beat your defensive line? How does our defensive line beat your offensive line? So, back to the stats. So, yeah, we had 62 yards. And I would say a bad interception. 2 interceptions, but one, not so great. I think you'd agree with me. Yards per play, 4.0, 4.3, right about the same. Rushing yards, 172. And they were at some key times to 4.3 per and 77 total yards. They could not run. This was without Donovan Edwards. And you know what? He's having a better season this year than he did last year. And he's a Buckeye crusher. So that did hurt because you want to kind of alternate him. And he went out, and the poor guy, my heart broke up to him because I know he wanted this so bad. He really wanted it. But he got in. He only had, four rushes for 11 yards. But that doesn't really say whether he had a good day or a bad day, Not a lot of blocking for him, but he's one step away from taking it to the house. What other stats come out there important as far as a team? They had 2 interceptions. We had 2 interceptions. Time of possession. When we went into this game, one of the ways we were going to win is, we had to win on the ground. We had to ground and pound it, okay? We had to be good enough at the pass game. And I'm going to explain in a second, but we were just good enough when we needed to be okay. And I'll explain that again. But we needed to control the clock and keep Ohio State. And 26 minutes and 33 minutes. So we had them 7 more minutes. That's big. A 3-point game, 13-10. So statistically, I mean, we won on what's really important. We time of possession. We were interceptions. Both quarterbacks tried to lose the game. Our punter, Tommy, Tommy's doing better. He's really, kudos to him, because I criticized him on this podcast a few weeks ago. He was not doing well. But 58, it was a very evenly played game offensively. I mean, neither teams, but this is Michigan's offense versus Ohio State's offense. I mean, and we're even-ish, except we run better, which is more important. So statistics, so-so, but we won the game. So, and again, if you wanted to say it was going to, Michigan was going to lose, but, they could be a good game. Because how can you guarantee Michigan's going to lose by 30, 40? You can't. Go back to 96. They were, I don't know what kind of underdog they were, to a great Ohio State team. John Jansen was on that team, and they came back and won. 69, of course. There's been so many Michigan teams. It seems to happen. Michigan beats Ohio State more when our teams, there's more of a mismatch. And again, it proved 69, 96. Today, And if you look at the other way, like 2016, 2018, we should have won those games. 2018, we were ready to go to the playoffs. And I wouldn't say they got demolished, but it wasn't the greatest game defensively. That's when the Don Brown defense, again, he did great. Don Brown, everybody like to criticize him. He did great all year, one of the best defenses in the nation. They just couldn't leave our guys on an island. Remember those crossing patterns? All they needed is an extra foot and a quarterback who can hit those, and they get 15, 20 yards every time. That's what beat them. That's what got them 56 points. But Don Brown, I don't think it was a bad defensive coach at all. Not at all. It just, like I said, they kept their guys on. He kept their guys on an island, and against Ohio State, they took care of it. So I said I didn't think they were going to win, but I said this is going to be a lot. The title of my thing, Michigan's going to be a lot closer than you think, and I would say that's fair. I thought they may lose 7 to 10 points. So kudos to me, because they could win, and I said they could win. But now if somebody had told me, you threw an interception in the fourth quarter when you had you were at the 2-yard line, 1st and 2, I'd be, yeah, I don't think so. Or that you threw an interception when you're down at your own goal line, I'd say, yeah, maybe not. I don't think so. But they did. I don't know how it happened, but kudos to Wink to Wink. You know what? I was a little concerned, but he really turned it around, and they better keep him. We need to keep Wink. Sharon, all those people that jump on Sharon don't want to give him a chance. I mean, come on, guys. This is college football. Give a guy a year. He's going to make mistakes, especially in the situation he was put in. They should have done better. They're worse. Here's the thing. They're probably worse than they should have. Well, of course, they're worse than they should have been. But they did beat Michigan State. They beat, Ohio State, more importantly. They beat Michigan State. But they beat Ohio State. No, I was glad they beat Michigan State. I did not have a nephew, and I could not have handled it. He's a Michigan State fan if they had won. So, I want to talk. Well, let's go into the game a little bit more specifically. So, if I can take this thing back. Okay, so Will Howard was 19 for 33. He was okay, 175 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. Killers, just killers. Payne O'Leary, he's a senior, but I saw him in the spring game a few years ago, and I think they should have used him more this year. They started using him more lately, but the guy he's got hands. He made that catch that was unbelievable. We had some really good catches. So the game started out, we got the ball. I don't know if they touched the ball, but he was 10 yards to the end zone. He ran out. So I don't know why he did that. But we did. We're starting at the 10-yard line, kind of run for 2 yards, 1 for 1 yard, kind of right up the middle, right off center, off the tackle, or off the guard, rather. They run inside, and nothing. But third down. Here's where I was like, okay, he got a third down here. Because, the third down, what did I say third downs were? Third downs. This was something I did not talk about. We were 7 for 14. That's 50%. Not earth-shattering, but we made those third downs when we really need to. In the middle of the game, it kind of got a little south. But they were 6 for 16, so 6, 12, 18, almost just over a third. Well, we were at a half, and we made, do I need to say that last drive? No, they made some and he made some passes that were they didn't have all the separation. It was an easy pass. Now, he missed a number of those in the first quarter. Oh my gosh, guys were wide open. I don't want to get into that. But he did it in the fourth quarter after that terrible interception. He came back. That's called grit. And I know everybody uses, Dan Campbell uses it. Lions are a gritty team. Against the Bears, they were gritty. But this Michigan team, I think more than last year, were so gritty because they so could have given up on the season. A lot of people think they were. They never gave up. I could tell that in an Indiana game, okay? Even in the Oklahoma or Oregon game, they did not give up. They came back, made it a game at the end. So kudos to the Michigan staff and to those kids. They just did not quit. But I mean, the plays were almost the same. So it was, like I said, other than third down conversions, crucial, running, crucial. Everything else, time of possession, crucial. We took care of it. We did not, we had two crucial interceptions, but so did they. Okay, so that kind of was a wash. Okay, that was a wash. So again, call it lucky. I don't think it's lucky that our defense is that good. So back to the game. Let me see what I wanted. Okay, so the Michigan comes out, doesn't score. We get a first down. Shows a little. Maybe there's going to be something today. And then Ohio State gets the ball. Anyway, they go down. They get a 29-year-old field goal. They stop the touchdown right away. I'm like, okay, you know what? They held them to a field goal. I'll take it, and I will. 3-0. Michigan comes back, moves the ball, moves it down to the 1-yard line, and then on 2 plays could not score. 3 plays, I think it was. I don't remember. I think they passed on 2nd down. And I wouldn't even done that. I would just give it to Khalil 3 times. Or put it to our guy Orji. They know he's going to run, but it doesn't really matter. Half the time, 30 or 60% of the time, he breaks one for 10, 20 yards anyhow. So I maybe put him in. Or here, is what I told my wife, you bring Orji in. And you spread them all up. And then you fake a handoff. And then you just take a little dink pass over to Donovan Edwards. They're not expecting it. I think I would have loved to have seen that anytime during the season. Just a fake handoff and watch. And then if they're not at the 1-yard line, have Orji throw a long pass, something over the middle. Just why not? I mean, they're not expecting it, right? So Michigan doesn't score. They must have been an inch away. I mean, he dove and boom, got stopped. But I thought he might have been there, but maybe not. Maybe not. So anyway, they stop for they measured their ball. That was hard. There were 2 moments in this game that broke my heart. That really thought, we had our chance. That was one of them. And then the next play, boom. Hill, who got the interception? It wasn't it was, I should know this. Okay, why am I struggling here? Nice professional. Okay, well, Kerry Page got one, but it wasn't him that got that first one. He got the second. Oh, Amar Hall. He had a great interception. And first of all, I didn't think I thought he was out of bounds. Then I knew he was out of bounds when he ran it to the 1-yard line. And guess what? Your man Tim was wrong on both. He was in bounds. He tapped that right foot. And somehow he tapped it, lost his balance, and kept it in and ran down. He almost ran for a touchdown, but he kept it in. It was a great balance on both sides. And it was like we got the first down. I mean, it just wiped that whole defensive stand away. And my boy Khalil goes in. We're up 7-3. I'm like, you know what? Okay, well, we still have the second half, and we know what usually happens. And I kept telling Trina, Trina, tell me they're not going to win, right? I don't want to get excited. And she's like, Tim, they're not going to win. But they're going to keep it close. And that's going to be important. That's going to show them something. I'm like, okay, you're right. And I kept, because mentally I could not get them to thinking they were going to win because I can't take losses like that. But as they get closer and closer, I'm like, I don't know. Maybe if they make some of these plays, they actually could win. So back to what happened. They 7-3. Michigan scored at 12:37 mark. Then, of course, Dominic Zavada drills the extra point. And then Michigan gets, stops them, gets the ball again. And this time they couldn't really move too far, but 54-yard, bring in the D, Dominic Zavada. Well, I don't know if they knew how to pronounce his name because they said it wrong a number of times. But 54-yard goes dead center. Now, I don't know if it would have gone much further, maybe 56, 57, but it didn't matter. He needed to make a 54, and he did. He absolutely did. And that was risky because you're getting that ball back at about midfield. So we're up 10-7 or 10-3. And I'm happy. I'm not like thrilled. I'm not like we're gonna win. I'm just like, okay, they're hanging in there with the best team in the country. Although I don't think they're the best team in the country. I think Oregon's the best team in the country. But they're hanging in with what a lot of people would say the best team in the country. So go back and forth. We're like, okay, we're gonna go up 10-7. I don't know, a minute. That field goal was with 2 minutes to go. 2:15 left in the second quarter. The way things were going, I thought nothing would happen. Ohio State did what Joel Klatt was begging him to do. I don't know why he was begging him to do. I'm glad they weren't listening to him most of the game. They opened it up. They spread it wide, not tight, wide. And guess what? Boom, pass, 18-yard, 17-yard, 24-yard. All the way down. Michigan's receivers are just giving them so much cushion that I like, why are you giving this much? Although I knew you didn't want one of those long ones, but come on, that wasn't okay. They went right down the field, just like I thought might happen for a good portion of the day. Because how many drives were like that? One. The only drive. They score 10-10, halftime. I'm like telling my wife, okay, we're hanging in there. But, second half, although like Michigan started not doing great second halves earlier in the season, they didn't make the adjustments, but against Oregon, they made a great adjustment. Against Indiana, they made a good adjustment. Against Northwestern, they turned it on. So I'm like, okay, well, we don't know. Ohio State usually does good adjustments, but so can Michigan. So can my Sharon Moore. So halftime, they go in, come back out. They get the ball. I'm like, what's going to happen? I know, negative Nelly. They're going to move the ball, get the ball. They're going to go down and score. Going to stop us, and they're going to score again, and they're going to be up by 24-10. That's what's going to happen, right? No, that's not what happened. They stopped them. Now, we talk about the middle eight. So they did get the touchdown at the end of the half, but that's okay. Third quarter happened, nothing happened. That's what happened. So I guess they did win the middle eight because they scored, but nothing happened. Both teams just blah, 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 blah. Michigan couldn't get anything going, running or passing for the most part. Ohio State couldn't get running going because they kept running, and the crowd's booing. I'm loving this. I mean, the crowd looks like they're just booing their team. And it's like a home game for Michigan. They're like back in Ann Arbor at the Big House. And they're looking around smiling. And this is just beautiful. This is a thing of beauty. Again, I know you have to pass some, but you don't, you can't just run it all the time. You got to run a little bit, but you got to pass. I said you have to pass some. You have to run some, I meant. So anyway, nothing happens. We get to the fourth quarter. What happens? Pretty much nothing. But between that nothing, there was a lot of nothing going on. Ohio State's moving the ball down to the 20-yard line. They throw an interception. That was great. I mean, and guys, I don't know if you're getting older, and I can't say anything because I'm definitely getting older. But so many times you said some weird things today that you're way off. Like it's third down. No, it was fourth down. And I don't know it's a first down. We're going to have to mark. And Joe Clay, he's way short, he said. You're 5 yards short. You called it maybe a first down. It just wasn't the best. I don't know if anybody else heard this, but it was not the best called game. And I'm not trying to mock them, but I don't get it. Because this is what happened. We got the interception. We got the interception from. Why am I not working here? Makari Page. What? Makari Page, my autograph right there. I don't know if you can see it. You probably can't. But I got his autograph on there. I got that at the Michigan dinner in the spring. So, I don't know where I'm going with this. I'm losing my mind. They're moving down. Makari Page gets the autograph, and Gus Johnson's like, "Oh, almost an interception. Oh, that was close." About a minute later, okay, maybe 10 seconds later, wait, it is an interception. Of course it is. It wasn't even close. Treated like, what? That was clearly an interception. I mean, they didn't bobble it, nothing. And he's running off. They're all doing the glasses, and he finally realized it was an interception. So, not trying to dog the guy, but he missed a lot of calls on this, much less a crazy call when he called disrespectful for Michigan to plant a flag, because nobody ever does that, right? No, ever. That's terrible. I tell you, I mean, Zeke Berry played a decent game. Jabbar Hill had a couple tackles, but Mason Graham, what a beast. 5 tackles. And I'll tell you, these guys did not get any sacks, but that's okay. They were on him all day, forcing that ball. So, kudos to a defense. Josiah Stewart, he only had one tackle, but he was all over the field too. Kudos to him. So now we're in the fourth quarter. They just throw an interception, and they throw an interception to us, so we got the ball. So what do? We turn around and throw another interception to them. So they throw it, they're scoring, we get an interception, they're going the other way, we're going the other way, we throw one, so they're back. We hold them. I'm like, okay, at least they held them to a field goal. Nothing. They missed the field goal again. This guy, I don't know what happened to him. But there was a time earlier in the game, they punted from their own 38. If we have it on our own 45, we're likely going for it. If it was an ending game, he would kick 60, and he could possibly kick a 60. But he's very accurate from 50 to 55. Very accurate. They're not even trying. Now I know why, but he couldn't even reach it from 38 yards. That's unbelievable. But that was earlier in the game. But again, he missed a second. So 2 interceptions led to nothing. Like, it didn't happen. I mean, they just kept offsetting each other. So we throw it. We hold them, and now it's our ball. And it's coming down to basically, can we drive this last thing? And I'm not terribly, terribly excited. And I'm not really excited about overtime because, you get the ball there at the 25. You really think we can, we could get field goals every time, but I mean, we need a touchdown, and that's not going to be easy. Although we could have maybe. Who knows? I'm glad we didn't have to know, right? We won in regulation. So we're moving the ball a little bit, but then third and 12 the first time. And I'm like, we're going to give the ball. I looked at my wife. I said, you know what's going to happen? They're not going to get this. Ohio State's going to get the ball back and run it down and win the game with a walk-off field goal. And I'm pretty sure a number of Michigan fans thought they were going to do that. But you know what? This is where Davis Warren forgot about the worst interception ever. A high school kid could have thrown a touchdown. But you know what? Instead of doing that, he decided he was going to win the game for Michigan. He was not going to quit. He battled cancer when he was a young kid, battled leukemia. He battled everything. He was a walk-on. And I know what it's like being a walk-on. Made it through, fought, finally got his starting time. And then guess what? They took him on, they put in Orgy, then they put in Tuttle, and then they put him back. And if you remember my old show, my last week's podcast, I said they should have kept him in. They would have had a lot more wins if they kept him in. You work through, you coach up the INTs, okay? You coach up, you work through it. Anyway, so we get a first down. This happens. It's like, reset and do again. First down, nothing. Second down, nothing. Third down, 3rd and 8. Boom. O'Leary makes a great catch with his fingertips. Just, again, I thought there's no way he caught that, but he did. Let me see who that was. I believe, or was it Tyler Morris? Tyler Morris got one of them. Okay, and then this fresh Marlon Klein. Watch out, watch out. He's going to be our new tight end, and he's a freshman, and he did really well. But then again, third down. And so now he keeps hitting these third down, and these are from 6 or 8 to 12 yards. And the guys aren't getting all this separation. They're right on the sideline, and he's just throwing these perfect passes that only Michigan players can get. And then it's third and 10? He's back. He looks like he might get sacked. Instead of running out like he does, he finally sees right up the field, and he runs for a first down. I mean, are you kidding me? Now we're in the outskirts of a field goal. But here's the thing. If he misses, Ohio State is right there. They need 20, well, they'll probably need 40 yards to get down to the 10, to be honest, because they can't kick a field goal. But, I mean, they could try from 30. They can try from 35. And, the guy could make it. Maybe he missed, but he definitely could make it. Or they could get a touchdown, just throw a pass, and the game's over, right? And I think they'd be... Here's the thing. What would be dangerous about that situation, I think Ohio State would be trying to get a first down or a touchdown because they couldn't count on their kickoffs. It kind of goes back to when Michigan played USC. We missed that extra point, but because of that, we were forced to go for the win instead of tying it and going to overtime where they probably lose for the same reasons I said earlier. So he gets the first down, crazy. Guess what happens? First down, couple yards. Second down, couple yards. 3rd and 7. This is literally the game on the line. Because if they don't, I don't know what Sharon's going to do. I really don't. I'm thinking he's going to kick a field goal. But I don't know. Who knows? I don't know what's right. Either way, it's kick a field goal, make it. You miss it, we're in trouble. If they kick off, Ohio State's probably going to be forced to open it up. And you know what happens when they open it up. But it didn't matter. It didn't matter because it's 3rd and 7. Khalil up the middle. I'm like, oh no. He got 1 yard, maybe 2. And I'm looking the other way. And what I have a habit of doing is, and my wife hates this, I'll pause it because I always DVR it so I can pause it. I pause it and take it step by step. I started doing this with Tiger Woods when he would make these birdie putts because I love to watch it. I would track the ball. Tack, 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 tack. It's going in. It's going in. Yeah, he got a birdie. I just love Tiger Woods. That's another story. I did that with him. My wife hated it. Just play the stupid thing. So I played it, and he bounced off. I was like, we're done. I was at pause, and I was ready. Like, what are we going to do? He hits it, and all of a sudden he bounces out, and he's gone. Not for a touchdown, but another 20 yards. Oh, I was losing my mind. Hey, I lost my mind when he threw that interception. Just ask my wife. She's like, well, why are you getting mad at me? I'm like, I'm not getting mad at you. I'm just mad. I'm just upset. Just let me be mad. It was terrible. I mean, she's only been with me a year and a half so she knows my Michigan fandom, but come on. We didn't lose a game last year, so it wasn't quite the same. We didn't have any really bad, even this year, we didn't have any real plays that lost the game for us. The one play against USC, we won the game with that. So it wasn't that, but I thought that might have been the time we lost the game. So I apologize. I got a little testy, not with you, just in general, because we're not going to come back for that, but we did. And we're down to the 15-yard line. I'm like, all we have to do is kill time. I'm going crazy. And they moved the ball, and I wanted a touchdown because a touchdown would have made them need a touchdown. And secondly, it would have killed the rest of the clock. But they got close, and they got down to the 3, could not get in. So I was like, okay, he's going to make this, but my wife, they can't do it. They can't. There's not enough time. I'm like, don't say that. There's enough time. All they need is a couple long passes, and they're, in field goal range. And again, with the caveat that their kicker stinks. So I get that. So, but you knew they could still make a couple passes. They could get behind them, and it could be a touchdown, game over. So they score, and I'm like, okay, I'm really happy. She's like celebrating. We won. Meanwhile, my heart still, I got high blood pressure. My pressure's up. My heart's going. And I am just not ready to celebrate yet. And then you know what happens, a couple plays, and then that fourth down. I mean, they had the penalty, and then the fourth down, and they stopped them. And I wasn't even celebrating, exciting. It was more of emotional. I just couldn't. I was just so happy. I was so happy, and to see Ryan Day look like that, and their fans just look like ghosts. Like they didn't know what happened. They were so sure they were going to win. They put so much pressure on themselves. Ryan Day put so much pressure on the players. It was like, we worked too hard. It wasn't like Michigan could win. They deserved it. Michigan didn't deserve it. This was their time. There was no way it was going to happen. And that's when I'm like, you know what? You better be careful. Okay? You better be careful. And just like Desmond, my man, you picked Michigan by 3 points, 24-21. I don't think anybody thought it'd be 13-10, but you picked it. And I think you meant it too. And I meant it. It was going to be a close game. I did not pick Michigan to win. So I'm not going to be like one of those guys that say, I was the only one that picked Michigan. My brother picked Michigan a few days ago. So good for him, which kind of surprised me because sometimes he's like, kind of gives up on the team a little quick, in my opinion. But he picked them, and I thought it'd be a close game. But the funny thing is, I wanted it to be a close game, and I thought, if it's a close game and they lose at the last second, it'll suck. I'll be hurt, but I'll get over it. But when it came to that second, I'm like, oh, they can't lose now. It would not have been okay. I don't care if they were 0-10 and they would have lost on a last second field goal or something like that. I would not have been okay with it. Now, eventually, I would have said, okay, look, they played better, they held their own, but they needed to win at that point, and they did. And just kudos to them. Just kudos to them. That was just fun. I am so happy. Now, before I go, we got to talk about this craziness after the game. Let me tell you, 2 years ago, Michigan's playing Michigan State. Michigan wins. There's a common thread to all this. Michigan wins. And what happens? State's in the tunnel. We're outside. We have a couple players. Somehow, a fight breaks out. 1, 2 versus 30. Okay, it's all Michigan's fault. Why is he in there? Why is he skipping? So people make excuses, especially State fans. And State fans are coming to Ohio State's hero like they're the big savior of Ohio State. They need you guys to help them. That happens. Then this year, Michigan versus Michigan State. Last play of the game. Loveland doing nothing. It's a kneel down. He gets pushed. Fight breaks out. And again, like, how is this Michigan's fault? Wait, what happened? But we win both games, and somehow there's a fight afterwards. It just didn't make sense. Because it doesn't make sense. Now, we beat Ohio State. Fair and square. Even though, Connor Stalions cheating. Somehow we couldn't win without cheating, but we win yet again. I don't know. We just cheat to win. That's all we're doing. Somehow maybe he flew over with the binoculars and got their signs again. Because that's the only way Michigan can win, right? So that's a joke. So, we're planting a flag. We did it 2 years ago, by the way. No problems. No problems. What happened when Oregon beat Michigan? They planted the flag. What happened when Texas beat Michigan? They planted the flag on our block and in our house. Oh, we're not going to let that happen. That's crazy. Let's go fight them. Let's rip their flag. Let's just do that because that's so disrespectful to Michigan. You know why nobody said anything? You know why it's not on national news? Because Michigan, we lost. Go ahead. I don't like it. I wish it didn't happen, but you won. You won on the field. All it's saying is today we beat you. This was our house today, and we deserved it. But when we do it, you think we would have raped and pillaged their kids and their women and robbed unbelievable. We're putting it in, and they literally come down, turn around, they're playing their stupid Almada. It's not stupid, but whatever. And come right at us. Just let us do it. Okay, could we have said, okay, we'll get away. We won't do it. We're sorry. I guess, but that's part of the game. That's part of the rivalry. You have fun. You owned it. Where was all this fighting and all this during the game? Show us more emotion on the field during the game. Maybe we wouldn't have planted our flag because we would not have won. Okay? And does anybody remember back in the 70s when Ohio State came onto our field and tore down our banner? Now that is different. That's our banner that we go underneath. Okay? But that's okay. I mean, come on, guys. That's just the banner. They tried to do it the next year, but we had security around the banner. A bunch of the wrestlers, the basketball team, a bunch of Michigan athletes, their baseball team, hockey players, all made a human shield and protected. Otherwise, it would happen again. So stop. Ohio State created the hate in this rivalry. I mean, Woody Hayes got over Michigan, ran out of gas. Instead of walking 500 feet to a gas station, walked all the way back to Ohio because he was not going to get gas in Michigan. Now, you know what? That's fine. Do whatever you want. Put your stupid X's all over Michigan, that team up north. You know, I'm not afraid to say Ohio State. Ohio State sucks. I said it. Ohio State sucks. They don't suck. But you know what? I don't care. They suck as everything else. Poor sports. And there was some kind of rivalry here that they kind of respected each other a little bit. I thought it was above Michigan State. And I still think it is. But I want to say this. During all this, during everybody getting sprayed, police guards being all tough guys, Donovan Edwards, I know it was for Michigan, it was Donovan. Trevion Henderson and a couple other players got in a little semicircle, got on their knees, and prayed for peace, prayed for this thing to stop. Well, all these people, but you think ABC or Fox is going to show them praying together next year when they get ready for the game of the century? No, they're going to show what they criticized. Okay, what they hated. Oh, this is so terrible. They just get your win and go off. It's all gonna be filmed. They're gonna love it to advertise their game, but they won't put on them praying because no one wants to see three people praying from two different teams. That's not exciting. That's not cool. But that's what it's about. That's the most important thing here. And that brought me almost to tears. That was so wonderful. And Sharon, even though I don't believe Michigan had anything, there were a few players that probably, like, okay, you're going to fight, I'm going to protect myself. And I understand, but a couple guys maybe should have gone off the field. But Sharon was trying to get him off, okay? Did you see Day? That's how he acted. He was shocked. He could not believe they lost. He watched them. He watched his players and our players getting sprayed in mace. He just couldn't do anything. He was terrible. He was just a little kid that just had his candy taken away from him. It's like he woke up to no gifts Christmas Day. Like, where's my gifts? I don't see any Christmas gifts. He just couldn't believe it. And I swear he was in tears afterwards. If you're in tears because you're emotionally happy, okay, but if you're crying because you lost, come on. I cried over Michigan games because I get emotional, and that's just my emotion. But I don't cry like it's not fair, we lost. Ugh. I've been crying a lot for 20 years, except for a couple times, right? But the grit this team showed, this coach, everything. And I hope, I hope they win their bowl. I don't care who it is. I hope they win it. You know what? And this is the thing. Next year, watch out, Ohio State. Now, I don't want to become Ohio State and just assume we're going to win next year. We don't know what's going to happen, of course. But even if we are the number one team and they're got 5 losses, don't ever do what Ohio State. They really thought they were going to win. They bought everybody they could. They bought the quarterback. They had the best receivers, running backs, everything. And yet they scored 10 points. So anyway, listen, I went way longer than I wanted to. I just want to tell you guys, like, just be a fan and don't mock these kids, and don't be mean. They're still kids, okay? Even though some of them get paid, it's still not the pros, and they are kids. Even if they do get paid, okay? Now I know, when they're getting millions of dollars, you expect something different, but anyway. look, it was. We'll do one more for the bowl game. I am going to do one more about how the inside and how they got Bryce Underwood, how that thing went under. But listen, just have a great Christmas. Hopefully Michigan will win whoever they play. Hopefully Ohio State doesn't make the playoffs, but I think they will. And hopefully they don't get too far. And I think he will be fired. If he doesn't win the Natty, or at least in the Natty, he's done. I mean, they're just, they don't, you can't do that at Ohio State. Lose this way, right? Like I said, what a blessing. I know God doesn't have his hand in football, but man, I thought he did. Yesterday, I thought he did. So thank you. Thank you guys. And again, do something great for somebody. Go out, help a senior citizen, bring food over, shovel someone's drive, whatever you may do. Okay. You have a great Christmas. I'll be in touch with you. Oh, and one more thing. I am going to be giving this away. Can you see it? It's an autographed picture of Jim Harbaugh. I will be giving this away, and I'm going to just randomly draw it. All you need to do is 3 things. And I'm a new thing, so I don't have a lot of likes or subscribes. If you subscribe, if you like, and you make a comment, you can just say "Go Blue" or anything you want. Like, subscribe, and make a comment. You do that. If there's 10 people, there's got to be a minimum of 10 people. But if there's 10 people, you have a pretty good chance at winning. Okay, so do that, and I'll draw the winner here in a couple weeks. And I'll wait. As soon as we hit 10, I'll draw that, even if it takes a month. And I'll get a hold of you, send it over to your house. It's a beautiful Jim Harbaugh picture. And anyway, so great. Go Blue. I don't know what to think about this season, but it was something fun. Take care. God bless. Have a great day. Go Blue.